Hello and welcome to week 5. So excited for this week. We're going to get right into it. Our goals for this week is we are actually going to start reading music in 4/4 time. And don't worry, I'm just going to jump right in and explain what that means right away. So, on every single staff right next to either the treble clef or the bass clef, there will be a set of numbers. Now, what these numbers mean, the top number and the bottom number actually mean something different. The top number is how many beats there are in every measure. So when it's 4/4, the top number, 4, means that there are 4 beats in every measure. The bottom number is which note gets the beat. So for example, in 4/4, where the bottom number is 4, the quarter note would get the beat. And I'll explain what that means right now. So I'm actually going to turn on my little metronome. That's like kind of going to keep the time for us. And you'll notice that the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, that one actually is a little bit higher pitch. That's how you know where to start. Now, meaning when we say that the quarter note gets the beat, that means every time the beat happens, that is worth 1 quarter note. So for example, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That also means that there will be 4 in every single measure. So for example, this quarter note is beat 1, this quarter note is beat 2, this is beat 3, and this is beat 4, etc., etc., etc. And that's how many quarter notes are in the beat. And you can actually count this. We're going to start counting this. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4. And I'm actually just going to stop it there because I kind of want you to figure out the rest, because if these are each worth 1 whole beat and these are each worth 1 whole beat, that means every single measure is going to have 4 beats. And basically with this would be beat 1, beat 2, and then for rest, we're going to put the rest in parentheses. So this would be parenthesis 3, and parenthesis 4. And this would actually go on I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out how all of these would be counted. I want you to whisper the rests. So for example, this measure would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause the video, figure the rest of that out. Wonderful. Now we're going to talk about half notes. Half notes, rather than counting all 4 beats out loud, we're actually going to put a little dash right here over beat 2 because, as we remember, half notes are worth 2 beats together. So this would be 1, 3, 1, 3. Basically, all that means is that rather than articulating every single beat, this one, since it's worth 2 beats, we're not actually going to say 2 out loud. We're instead going to be still holding 1 over that time. But this happens on beat 1, and then since it's worth 2 beats, it keeps going over to beat 2, and it stops after the second beat because that's how many beats it's worth. Then this one will start on 3 and go over 4. So it'll be 3, which really is 3, 4. And then the same thing happens with the half notes. This would be 1, 3. Now, I want you to figure out these ones by yourself as soon as I'm finished with this, but the whole notes, just like the half notes, we're going to actually use dashes rather than writing out the real numbers, because the whole note sounds like this. 1, and the whole rest sounds 1. So we were not actually going to say those numbers out loud because we would still be holding or singing the note as that's happening, as I hope that you learned either in your band book or in your choir lesson. So eighth notes now are one of the harder ones because as we learned how this pair of eighth notes is actually going to cover a whole beat, how do we articulate that? Rather than saying TT like you would have in elementary school, we're actually going to count it 1 and. And for the and, I'm going to use the plus sign to mark what and is. So this would be counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then we have our quarter rests again. So this would just be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first pair of eighth notes that happen in the measure is the 1 and. And since we finished with beat 1, now we're moving on to beat 2. This would be 2 and. Finish that, moving on to beat 3, 3 and. And this one is 4 and because it's the 4th beat in the measure. So again, pause the video. I want you to try and figure out the rest of these measures by yourself. And then just so you know, your announcements for this week, your at-home learning day, there will be an assignment. Please read all the instructions on every single page. It can be found in the week 5 folder. Band students, please practice pages 4 and 5 and more if you're ready to, and remember to go to your lessons. Choir students also go to your lessons. And if you have any questions about the homework, just know it's the same kind of PowerPoint deal, and it looks like this. You're going to be dragging and dropping some stuff from over here and filling in the blue boxes with all of the counts.